Right.
So I left school. I went to the local art college. I did sculpture, and then I did a degree in Derby College, and I went on the interview up to the old art college at Green Lane, which is long gone, I'm told
Right.
now. There was a time when the UK had a lot of small colleges that were almost monotechnics. So Derby School of Art, Oldham had a School of Art, independent of the big university system. It wasn't anything like that. It was far more kind of school leaver thing.
Yeah.
There's a great bloke called Brian Clark, born and bred from Oldham, stained glass guy. I don't know if you've come across his work. But they were kind of, there was a civic pride to these buildings.
Yeah.
There were the town or the city was proud of what it had, kind of the aspiration it had. So Oldham being a mill town. Brian Clark's mother worked she worked in the mill. She worked as a cotton worker, but he became and is one of the most recognised worldwide architectural stained glass workers. So his work is in Dubai. It is in huge kind of international conference centres. He's moved away from churches, and every now and again he still does one, but there might be a modern conversion of an old building, so, but my college, Green Lane College, so in the middle of Derby, used to have Debenhams and all of those kind of places, and then just up there was a pedestrianised street, and at the top of the hill was this beautiful Victorian Gothic purposely designed art college, and I believe it was the first purposely designed building for art in the UK. It had quarter circle skylights down the entire north side of it, so the studios were immaculately lit. And as a kid from West Wales for whom Tenby was Las Vegas, because this is where you came for work, but we were farm kids, going away to a city, going away to England, going away to a city which was, cities were just foreign places to me.
Massive place.
Swansea was a long way away in those days. You could get the train to Swansea, but you always knew you were it felt so different. Getting the train was a big deal. Cardiff was untouchable. The only time we went to Cardiff was on a very organised rugby trip. Many courses can teach you to never want to do that course ever again. My wife did a creative writing masters in an MA in creative writing. She's an author. She's got 7 or 8 books out.
Wow.
But an academic qualification numbs you to the joy of creativity, I think. You have to explain, justify bullshit often. I was never going to be a landscape painter when I went to art college. I was doing sculpture. I was looking outside of where I was from. I was looking at the European traditions of sculpture, whether it was really old figurative Renaissance or much newer, looking at steel and brazing techniques and wire, quite new stuff really. Broadening that, and also the joy of being away. Meeting people from different countries. West Wales was very traditional. It still is, but you grow up on a farm, or you grew up between, there were 4 farms that connected up to our little patch where we had a small holding. So the people you knew were farmers or worked on farms or were employed in agriculture mainly. Tenby was different from that, always was. It was all tourism, and it was...
This, we've been down to Cornwall, sometimes, and they go on about it being the artist's haven and all the rest of it. This place beats it hands down for me.
This place has never been on the art map. Not really.
Why?
St Ives was the biggest names. Cornwall, wasn't it? It was the biggest names. The Hepworths were there, the Nicholsons.
I've been in all the galleries.
All of those names. Really, Turner painted in West Wales, but not that much.
No.
Graham Sutherland, but he was kind of only one name in the 20th century from West Wales, really.
Yeah.
It's also Wales. It's people see it as being slightly alien because Cornwall is still a kingdom all on its own, really, but it's been so anglicised. The first colony of England was Wales. This was the first one they decided that they were going to have it for their own.
Yeah.
They were trying to slice bits off Ireland. They were taking as much of Scotland as they could. But Wales was the first one they actually, formally, what do they call it? The Act of Union. So then probably Henry VIII might have, I think.
Yes.
And don't forget, every castle in Wales was built to keep the Welsh out.
Yes.
So it's always there, seen as a rebellious act, It was banned. It was banned in schools. The speaking of Welsh was banned in school. Have you heard of the treason of the Blue Books, No. Llyfr Gleision. So Llyfr's book, Llyfrgell, is a library.
Right.
The English were determined to prove the Welsh to be thick, stubborn, and worthy of rule. Basically. Historically, that's like the rebellious Scots. They make a big public show of why they shouldn't be governing themselves, why they're not worthy of it. So what they did was they sent, bear in mind they sent from the Church of England, they sent members of the clergy who had some academic bent to investigate the level of literacy amongst the Welsh children. So they sent non-Welsh speakers who were not Methodist, non-conformist, chapel. They were Church of England, they were Anglican. To all these corners of Wales where English was not spoken.
No.
Whether in church, in chapel, certainly not in chapel, in school, and definitely not in home. And they found what they wanted to find. They found heathens who could not understand or speak English. So they called it the treason of the Blue Books because it was all written up in these books saying they have no learning, no education, no comprehension of the English language. Everything we do for them is seen as being wrong. We need to up our game and to really hammer them. So they created things like the Welsh Not, which basically meant the Welsh Not was I must not, and it meant you do not speak Welsh in school, and if you do, a piece of wood or a piece of rope is hung over you like a yoke, and you're punished.
Right.
And then the next person gets it if there someone else speaks Welsh in the playground, they get it. Until the end of the day, the last person wearing it would be the one who was punished. And that was typical.
Wow.
That was typical.
Wow.
And so speaking Welsh is a form of rebellion.
Yes.
It's
the same.
It's tongue in cheek more than it used to be, but don't get me wrong, though. English. There are Welsh people who think that Welsh is a bit of a backward thing.
I don't think it is. It's a language. Isn't
it's beautiful.
It?
It's a beautiful language.
If it's banned, like obviously it was trying to be, it would just disappear completely.
Yeah.
And then people would think.
Well, in Ireland,
my mum's from Ireland.
Right. So Gaelic is now seen as kind of there is a lot of Gaelic spoken on the west coast.
Yeah.
But elsewhere in Ireland, it's seen as being quite maybe a middle class or quirky thing to do. Whereas you won't hear hardly any Welsh spoken in Tenby at all. If I speak Welsh to somebody, if I say good morning to somebody in Welsh, they will sometimes give me a funny look. But Tenby has always been a very anglicised part. I mean, jeepers, Tenby's like Birmingham on Sea sometimes. that's just, it is, you know.
Yeah.
Saundersfoot, where I live, it's incredibly anglicised. My God, it's lovely,
I like it.
but it's very anglicised.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, you know, you look around and you go, my God, you know. There are people who fly a black country flag.
Yes.
You know, which I didn't even know was a thing. You know, and I had to look it up. I thought, God, what's that?
Yeah,
what's that? I was on my bike. I saw, you know.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was the skull and crossbones the first time.
Did you?
Something flat.
I think, I think it's still illegal to put a skull and crossbone flag on your boat. I've got a couple of mates I worked on the boats. My friend Frosty would always put one on his boat, and there would be a few tuts.
Yeah.
Seems quite a radical thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, probably anti-monarchy or something.
Yeah.
It's very, naval insignia is probably quite important, isn't it? You know. Yes.
Yeah. All the way.
I mean, I think anywhere with a dock has always got a dark past.
Yeah.
You can always find evidence for mortality by a, you know what I mean? You go through, you know, Cardiff docks are very much now Cardiff Bay. It's very gentrified, 15 kinds of bloody coffee and all that. But when my brother was in uni in Cardiff, because we were the first generation in our family to stay on for sixth form, my brother and I. Right. So he went to Cardiff Uni, and I'd say, what's down there? He goes, oh, that's Cardiff Docks. Students don't go down there. You know, he said that is Tiger Bay. Yeah. And they called it Tiger Bay because apparently you could get anything. Yeah. You could get anything in there. Probably opium was possibly the tiger thing. And Shirley Bassey's day and all that. You know. But all my wife's family are Cardiff, so they'd say, "Oh my God, you know, my wife's father, Eloise is my wife. Her father, Bob, was born and bred Llantriston, so that's just at the start of the Rhondda Valley. Right. So his family were kind of they were catering supplies, so you'd get to meet all the different families in all the family catering businesses around South Wales, from the Rabaiotis in Pembroke Dock, the Tavalis in Carmarthen, the Sidolis in Swansea. So all the different Italian first, second, third, fourth generation South Walian Italian families, who all hail from about 3 different towns in Italy, believe it or not, to the Bengalis or the Pakistanis or the Indian, or it goes on. Yes. And then Cardiff then is even more multicultural, because you had the first say Welsh or non-British dock workers to campaign for equal pay in the 1880s, 1890s were the Somalians. Okay. And that was in Cardiff. Right. To get level pay. And they won. They got it. Cardiff's history is fascinating.
Well, we've got Liverpool.
Absolutely.
The Irish, coming over.
And the music coming over from the States, of course.
Exactly.
There's not much to know. I mean, I was a school teacher.
That was the bit that...
So, in a nutshell, paperboy with my sister, primary school. Ice cream cafe in Tenby, aged about 12, if I remember. Yeah. Delivery boy. Stroke shelf stacker greengrocer's shop in Tenby, 2 of those, all the way through my teenage years. That was good work. Down to Cardiff Market, Bessemer Road, down the docks. We'd leave Tenby at 3 in the morning, get down there for about 5:30, get to the gates, which opened at 6. 5:30 guaranteed you'd be the first 2 or 3 wagons in, and there were wagons. Big 80s kind of aluminium shuttered lorries. If you got to the gate by 5:30, you got the best position to get in first. If you got in first, you got to where the forklift lads, and they were kids, speeding like this, pallets up to there, and they'd put them, everything was pre-ordered. And then my boss would go, I've just got to go and get a few more bits and bobs as well. Yeah. And the pallets would be put straight into the wagon already. Otherwise, you had to hump everything. And you're talking probably 200 boxes of tomatoes 3 times a week. That's how busy Tenby was. Yeah. And you'd save £1 a box on every item. If you used the agents, the dealers, who would deliver to all the other places around here, So there'll be like wholesalers here.
Yeah.
You'd pay £1 extra for everything. That was how my boss put it in his head. So in those days, just by having 200 boxes of tomatoes, you'd save a fortune. That was my job. And then art college in Carmarthen, 18 to 19, so after A-level. So local grammar school, the last grammar school in Wales, which you were hammered on every week. Boys, tuck your shirts in. Last grammar school in Wales, boys. Come on, standards. Well, so yeah. But nice school, actually. Quite tough.
Yeah.
But tough love. Grumpy, but nice grumpy. Most of the teachers were quite good. A couple of psychopaths, normal stuff. And then local art college. And the great thing about Tenby was that this part of the world was always busy when your term ended. So I worked in a bar that I would deliver to. So I got to know the owner of a restaurant bar in Tenby, the Plantagenet, down by the Tudor Merchant's house.
Yes, my wife's there now.
Right, next door to that, one up from there, is the Plantagenet.
Oh.
No, the Plantagenet.
Yeah, right, okay.
It literally joins the Tudor Merchants.
Yeah.
So I used to deliver there, and then when they sold the fruit and veg business, the year the supermarket left the square where Peacocks, I think it might be now. There's a big shop in this Peacocks, I think, or New Look, one of those cheapy, That was where the supermarket was in Tenby. So it was probably Gateways or International or Fine Fair or one of those. And that then moved to the multi-story. And when it moved to the multi-story, that killed Tenby. That killed Tenby's small shops in 1 year. The butchers, the bakers, all of them lost because the multi-story was easy. Yeah. Everyone drove there. Then I worked in a bar. I worked in a restaurant bar. I worked in the kitchen porter, gutting fish, scaling bass, peeling spuds, making soup, learning to cook. 90 hours a week. That's how many hours I used to do. 92 hours was the most I ever worked in a week.
So when you actually finished college,
end of each term,
university.
So Christmas term, Easter, autumn term, this term, I would go about now. I'd start back in uni in Derby. I'd normally get 5-6 days off from when the restaurant would go down to. I mean, bear in mind it's busy in Tenby this time now, but when I was in those days, end of August, the trade in Tenby would drop like a stone.
Right.
So even if I wanted to work as a fruit and veg kid as a Saturday boy, no work, nothing. And I was fit, I was fast, I was keen, I was skint. My nickname was Billy Whiz. That's how quick I could deliver around Tenby and come back for more. I was quicker than the boss in his van. So by the time I loaded the bloody van, you'd have gone down and come back. I said, well, it's easy. Just like, come on, load me up. I say, load me up. And I'd be running down spuds, carrots. I was like that, So I would get 10 days off working in the restaurant. They'd just about lose all their staff. Or we would be told that's you done, basically. I'd buy one pair of Levi's jeans with some of the money I'd saved. Probably buy myself something as a treat, and then have everything stashed in the bank because I got a small grant, mainly just covered my accommodation, but your fees were paid in those days. So I got a small grant, but I got the full grant because my brother we were free school meal kids in school. We were like the working poor. We were well fed, lots of dead things in the freezer that was from our land, so pigs, chickens, anything that stopped laying, all that. So I could gut a chicken, I could kill, pluck and dress a chicken age 10, and I don't eat meat now.
No.
Very happily.
But children,
mates,
all
of us have got certain injuries from farm work. My mate Russ has got a dodgy back. All of us have got some tales of, I don't know, nearly losing a finger in the blooming. It was dangerous, really.
Yeah.
Working on the farm, work on the hay, lethal.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know if you've ever seen them, but you would have hay trailers which would do nothing all year except attach themselves to brambles. In the corner of a field in every farm in West Wales is a hay trailer, and it's low, long, and prone to having holes in it. Don't lean on that bit, boys, or there'd be. Boys, watch your corner. It's a bit soft. And you think soft. I chuck some carpet on a bit of car. Oh, that'll do it, Mr. Jones. That'll stop us falling through, innit? Bloody hell, And then you'd be 6 layers of straw or hay bales, and it depended on the farm you worked on as to how good their kit was. So some of them would have an elevator, which would be slats of like 2x1 on a belt, and you'd put them on there, and they'd be carried up into the Dutch barn, hot as hell.
Yeah.
Some of them had what you called flat 6, so there'd be a front loader, and you'd go around the field. Your job, first of all, was to get all the scattered bales and put them into a flat 6, so the clamp on the front of the tractor could lift up 6 at a time onto the trailer. But other farms didn't have that, so every bale you had to hump up on your leg, up it go, and then the edge of the field would be the green ones with thistles in, and they always seemed to be that was the last field, the last load. And there's some beautiful poems written about all that stuff. Ted Hughes would write about the last hay load, but the last load would always seem to be after you had tea, and you'd be full of new potatoes and ham and salad. And Mrs. Jones would put on the perfect this, and Nin Bowen, our neighbour, she was like, her and her husband Skip, like a French farmer, or fad like that. Right, boys? And Nin was enormous, and Skip was like a lath, like Jack Sprat. So you'd eat, have some more food there, boys. Help yourselves, ham and Right, we better go and get this last load in. And you get up, you go, oh Jesus Christ! And you're 14, and you're knackered. Suddenly everything had gone stiff. Yeah. Oh bloody hell! I'm stuffed with food. And the last load was all these green heavy bales, and they're a bit bent. And Jesus Christ, you're trying to get up there, And there'd always be one lad who, you'd probably take the pee out of him because he's probably a bit tough. But oh Christ, so you'd need one because you'd get an old couple and you'd just get a bloody fork. Oof. Yeah. And you think, Jesus Christ, you're built like a blooming barn, That was the work you could get after school. Yes. April, May, May and June often, or later through the year. Yes. But the pay was bloody awful. Yeah. Tenby was where you came to earn money. So basically then, so we were kind of out in the sticks, free school meal kids. Going off to Derby College was a break. There'd be mates of mine would moan because they'd be given an assignment. Oh, we got an assignment. Oh, blooming heck. I was like, are you joking? I have done 90 plus hours a week all summer, stinking of fish. I've been cleaning out the deep fat fryers. I have been, welding and bodging up another part of the restaurant that's falling apart because it's August and it's bank holiday and the lift's bust, and we're kind of literally running up and down with food for people. Everyone's trying to make money, stash the money away. And you're moaning because you've got a bloody assignment to do. This is like, if I look laid back now, this is what my art college was like. I loved it. Yeah. It was easy. I could work hard. Yeah. But I did bribe the porters because I'm an early morning kid. I can't stand. If I wake up, I want to go. Yeah. So luckily we've got a dog. So I get up in the morning about 5, 6. Right. Dog's about ready about 6:30. Yeah. Kettle on, do my emails. Yeah. Good, that's done. Yeah. Ready, mate? Yeah, lovely, off we go. Out for half an hour, whatever. Art college. Go down to the market, old-fashioned market. I've always liked markets. Suss out what time the earliest would close, the veg market. Buy a bacon butty for Tom or Ernie, the porters, on the door at the art college in Green Lane. Do you know the market in Derby? I don't know if it's still there now. I don't know. Sort of towards the bus station.
I usually go to the colleges or
Kedleston Road that way.
I know Derby, but I would
You'd be out Kensington Roadway, wouldn't you? Or
yeah, my customers were, shipped around there.
Yeah, but so I could bribe the porters to let me in. Tom and Ernie, I remember. Ernie, you never were sure which one of his eyes was working. And he had a wig. He was a classic, honestly. He was like a carry-on figure, but I loved him. He was a great guy. And apparently he was superb at the bookies. Yeah. He had a tiny little black and white telly. You could see it in his little lodge, Porter's Lodge. Ernie always rolling a fan. All right, Ernie, yeah, just watching the, yeah, all right, Ernie, yeah, do me a favour, mate, put me in. You're going downtown lunchtime? Yeah, go. Stick this in the bookie. The reason I talking to my sister, she works at the Department for Work and Pension, so she works at a call centre. Now my sister is the biggest hearted grafter I think I've ever met. She was the one who got me a job, helping her, probably subcontracting me out, knowing my sister, she probably took 10p off each paper round I did. But she said, come on, I'd get some work, because she's a bit older than me. Yeah. I came in with her to get my job as a fruit and veg kid, because I wasn't going to work in a cafe anymore. I thought, oh, bloody cafes, not very nice owners, not very nice to me. I was, and you're a bit nervous when you're 12. You just want someone to go, all I want you to do, mate, is this. Yes. But they were always up and, and always arguing. I didn't like it. No. But I walked past this fruit and veg shop and there was a sign saying, I just went in. My sister goes, that'd be nice for you. Because all my family were growers. Yes. We had a small hold. We always had a market garden, we've called it a veg garden. My granddad had a allotment and all that, and I like veg. I knew what it was, but it was cold and it was fresh and I liked the smell of it. And blooming heck, we worked like stink, but it was great. But my sister said that what she misses, because she works from home because of arthritis and because of COVID before, she misses the banter of the office. She misses the big workforce. But it's better for her. She doesn't have to get up and drive. Oh God, she's like, get into my car, get my arms to work and my legs to work and my hips gone a bit, and she's like the Lego kid. She's half replaced everything. She's got new this. Got a new knee coming though. Oh, well done, Tracy. But she worked in family chippies for years in Tenby. She used to do double shifts all the time. No hard-working people in Tenby would see their kids all summer, especially if they owned a business. It's the worst matching of kids being at home. In the City Isles, they don't let the kids don't break up for the summer holidays that everyone else has across the UK. The kids are kept in school. Right. I'm told. Right. Because all the family businesses are all about tourists. Yes. Just like here. Well, all the parents here don't get to see their kids, so you've got to have childcare to work your backside off. You've got to pay top dollar. Whereas, in a way, they shouldn't say, well, listen, you kids have got to go through the summer. We'll give you your holidays in June. They shouldn't.
So when you left university, you had an art degree. I've
got a what's my degree? I've got a joint honours. Right. In literature. So I did some European literature, some English lit. A joint honours, but mainly I majored in fine art. Right. And my degree is actually University of Nottingham, because Derbyshire College then was still not able to give its own degrees. Right. And then within a few years, they all became unis. So all the polys became universities, and Derby was part of all that thing in the early 90s. Then I worked for 2 years in the college as an education welfare officer, basically helping students with problems. That was my job. Yeah. Loved it.
Is this where... Did you teach?
No, I didn't teach. Okay. I had done some teaching... I had some teaching experience, because in primary... In my work placement, in my grammar school, so we were probably 15-year-olds, we all had to do a week work placement. I worked in the primary school. And that seemed quite nice. And then during my degree, we had to do some kind, if you were under a certain age, which most of us were, you had to do some work experience. So I worked in the sculpture park in Breton Hall, near Wakefield. And I found myself running projects with youngsters quite easily. I found it was fun, I liked the art, being outside the sculpture, we made forest sculptures, so we'd go and collect stuff and we'd weave and we'd build, oh I don't know, there's a hump over there, we can make that into a dragon. We'd find some fungus on and make them into eyes. It's a great laugh, you know. Mud and art, good combination, kids happy, you know. Toy Wilcox was sponsoring one of the sculpture projects, and she was there helping every day. She was first in, kettle on, wellies on, loved her. I thought, God, I always thought I'd be a bit starstruck. I was a bit, oh, Toy Wilcox, you know. Kind of like, I've always liked you. And she was like, morning, do you want a brew? Oh, yeah, all right. She was like that. I loved her. No airs and graces in the best way, but she was joyful to work with. Cackling laughter, a bit dirty, bit naughty, not dirty, a bit naughty, you know. She's good, a bit nudge. I loved her. And I was like 21, so I thought she was gorgeous. Did that stuff. And then I moved back home, well, not home, I moved back to West Wales, age 24, after working so I was away for 5 years, including 2 years work in the college. Did my teacher training at age about 25, 26. So that was Cardiff Uni. Cardiff Met, it's called. Would have been the Institute, Wales Institute. Teacher training, got a job in a college in Gwent, down near Newport, one of the valleys there. Loved the job, part-time but loads of hours, quite well paid actually. And then the college, typically the college went bust. Lost a lot of money, overstretched, and I was the last in, so I was first out. And then did some travelling, had some money, owed a couple of months' pay. Went travelling, went to India, went to Nepal. 6 months bumming around on a motorbike, loved it. Came back, middle of recession, got a job as a teacher. CV, late September, putting my CV together, worked on a local farm where they did quads and regular farming, all that stuff. Put my CV together, hand delivered CVs to a few secondary schools to do some supply teaching. Phone call next day, maybe, or certainly a few days later. Guy, Mr. So-and-so here from Whitman School. I said, oh, my old school. Went, oh, yeah. Yeah, we see that, yeah. Well, Jenny Evans gives her regards, my old art teacher. Can you come and do can you pop in for a chat? Might have a bit of work for you. Oh, cool. Went in. Eric Evans, who was the deputy in charge of staffing. Great bloke. Ex-maths department, so he was really good at he understood systems. Clever bloke. Ex-Scrum half, so always a bit aggy, but quite good. And he said, we've got a poorly art teacher, not Jenny, June Jones. I don't think you remember. No, I don't know June. She's a really poorly guy. She's going to need to go to a specialist probably once a week, but we're not expecting her to be in much. We want to give her all the cover that she needs. Can you help us out? I said, yeah, I can do a Monday for you, because that's what they asked first of all. At the end of the Monday, Eric knocked on my door about 3:30. Can you come in tomorrow? Can you come in? Can you come in? Can you come in? Foot in the door, 12 years.
Brilliant.
Liked most of it, but started to struggle with a bit of anxiety, the pressures of it, full on. Sunday afternoon blues became Sunday morning blues, became Saturday blues. Hard job.
You were going...
Started to lose the passion for it. It wasn't what I thought it was.
What you wanted.
Not eventually. I got to 40. I got to 40 and I started normal stuff. You start listening to people who are older than you, who are only in their 50s, saying, oh, I'm be done in 8 years, boys. Jesus Christ, you're looking forward to being 60 and you're 52. I don't think I want to be you.
No.
Nothing against you, mate, but
no.
I want to go.
Yeah.
I can do other things. What I kept thinking was, I was starting to get a lot of work outside of being a teacher. Picture framing, which I'd done a little course in. Commissions of horses, dogs, and I could do them as well as anybody else, quite professional standard, and they were quite well paid. And I was thinking, I reckon I could just do it. I can always find work pulling pints, working in a bar, I don't care. I think I can just do it. I could just get out of this. And it started to just go, woof. That made me so much happier in my head. Then I just thought, well, you better go. Do it. And I just
You've got to try, otherwise you'll never.
I know. And I just stopped it. I gave my notice in at 36. Right. Was it 36? 40. The idea came to me late 30s, and I worked until I was 40, gave my notice in, had no money. I'd been divorced for a few years. I'd given everything. I just went, you can have it all. We weren't happy together. I left. I probably lost 50 grand on the value of the house after what we, but I also knew that the person I was leaving needed all of that thing, and I knew I could just get a little flat, start again. I wasn't bothered by that stuff. Stopped teaching 2010 and then went back in a bit. Did a bit of supply that became 3 days a week contract. Another school, bad idea. Not a nice school. I was lucky. I went to my old school as a teacher 10 years after leaving as a pupil. Some of the old characters were still there. Some of the ones I didn't like were still there. Some of the ones I loved were still there. Normal mix. So lots of allies. If you was having a bad time, you could kind of, but and then I was doing a bit of supply teaching, and it was December 2017. We went for a pizza. It was one of those weird moments. I often think there's a funny moon attached to decisions like this. I think it would be a fascinating study through major good and awful decisions of history to see what the moon was doing. Massive believer in it. We live on the beach. We're 100 yards from the sea. And daily I'm amazed at the difference that the moon has had on it all. You go there sometimes, it's, the magnetism of the moon pulls. Second highest tidal range in the world, this part of the world, after Canada. It's enormous, And I wonder, when we went for a pizza with our mate Vicky, who had a French boutique in this shop. So she goes to France in a van, finds beautiful French architectural salvage stuff, or wheelbarrows, or French linen. Huge client base. All the vintage fairs, Hay on Wye. Lots of places with what I call double barrel towns, She sells hand over fist. And she just went, I'm good. How's the shop going, Vic? She goes, gonna let it go, guy. Don't need it. It's a bit of a tie. I like being on the road. I sell far more, and it's expensive. I was like, And I'd quietly in my head thought about doing an art room. I was quietly teaching classes for the council, and then on my own village hall, rental hall. Put some posters up, word of mouth, people come and paint, did quite well. I thought, if I do it all in one place, sell, paint, teach, have a little gallery art shop thing. Spoke to Eloise, my wife went, but it'd be really expensive, Guy. I went, I bet it will be. I just want to stop chasing my tail. I think this came up. I went, Vicky, art room. Because I knew I was going to call it the art room. If I was ever going to do it, it'd be the art room. The atmosphere I wanted from when I was a teacher and when I taught and all that. And then Vicky went, I pay this much a month, but it won't be the same deal, Guy. You'll be paying more than that with with Poppy and her family. So I've got no idea what it'll cost. But I'll email Poppy, who's her contact, who I've known forever, and her mum forever. And it went from there, and I had a meeting with her, and she said, this is how much we want, But she said, that the business rates, the council have given 90% rebate, and I was like, bloody hell. Because they would have been £5,000 a year for the rates. It's £100 a week. Now it's a £5 a week. I know.
Wow.
So it's just the rent.
Yeah.
So I'm still teaching, I'm still doing bits and bobs, I'm still chasing all over the bloody shop, still doing everything, still doing a bit of part-time teaching on a contract, so I couldn't drop that straight away and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I did my first, so I opened in March 2018, up a ladder, painting the walls, everything was all over the shop, begged, borrowed, didn't borrow any money off anybody. We scraped the down payment together, didn't touch that, so there was no financial fear. Big difference for most people on business, I think. They normally borrow a big amount of money.
Exactly.
Didn't borrow anything.
Yeah.
And I know I'm a good bodger. I can paint stuff, I can glue it, whack a screw in it, jump into a skip and pull the chairs out that were falling. I'll have them.
Yeah, I love that.
Look at that, it's all right.
I love that.
All that kind of stuff. Borrowed this and that. Got enough together, built some tables so I can do an art room, I can get people in, art classes, busy,
You know what you're doing.
fine.
Yeah.
And I just went, oh, God, this is me.
Yeah.
Hadn't opened the door, still up a step ladder, buckets of paint everywhere, paintings lent up. Bloke, were you open? I went, not really, because I want, what, is that for sale? I was like, oh, come in, mate, I am open. Kicking things out the way as he came in. And he just went, I'd like that. I said, well, it's 600 quid. He went, yeah, lovely, great. Can I take it? Have you got a machine? I haven't got anything. I haven't even got a kettle yet.
I saw a guy walking up with a big frame yesterday.
Yeah.
Up this street.
Yeah. I know. And that was a month's rent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Around my wife.
Yeah.
She went, don't you spend bloody anything. Well done, by the way. Well done. Don't spend anything.
Yeah, don't go.
We've got 12 months to cover. We had a 12-month lease. So we knew we could only fail 12 months in a row. And if it was a millstone for 12 months, it wouldn't be 60 months of that. I just knew. Straight away. I just knew. I didn't take a day off. I was teaching still. Yeah. Stressful, running A-level courses and stuff. Oh, bloody hell. God, I've got to go and
how many people do you does it go up and down? You know, do people, is it local people? Is it people
what,
on
classes
holiday?
or?
Classes.
I don't hardly do any. I thought I'd be doing loads. And I now do, well, with Mum recently, I've had to cancel the last few weeks, 3 weeks. Normally, I just do Tuesday morning. In fact, I'm going to do it this week because it's very ad hoc. It was a great crew, all sort of walks of life, which I love. Yeah. So Lizzie's got a hotel, the best one in Tenby, Park Hotel at the top. She's in her 70s.
We're going to go there.
It's the best one.
Yeah.
Best one.
Yeah.
She's had the same staff through all generations. She's got people her age still working for her, and their children work for her, and their grandchildren work for her. That's how nice she is. She's tough, Lizzie, but tough love. Yeah. Pays you well, pays you on the nose, does everything she's asking you to do herself, in the kitchen, 5 a.m, cleaning spuds, starting everything off. Yeah. What the bloody hell time do you call this? Sorry, Lizzie, you know. She comes and paints it, all mixes, lovely. Yeah. So I'll send a WhatsApp text through in a minute and just say, anybody wants to come on Tuesday, sorry I've missed you all, we'll have a coffee and a Welsh cake and a natter, have a good old moan. Everyone will moan about people in their family, including me. Bloody hell, my mother, she cancelled the help. She what? It took you ages to get it. I know, she bloody sent her packing. Oh my God, you know. Everyone's got family woes, normal stuff. So I do that on a Tuesday, and then when I get up and running a bit more, when we've got a bit more care in place, and I'm not quite as knackered, because it's been not a day off. I never take a day off in July and August, see. It's just full on. Then Tuesday after school, I'll have 4 or 5 local school kids come back in, and they're great. Yeah. And they are passionate, talented, and they see that art isn't just, they take it more seriously than their careers teachers do as a subject, because they know I do, because this is proof that it works.
There's a difference between someone who knows what they're doing and someone who's just teaching. Yeah, I think.
And also the perception of a careers teacher and a school timetabler. Art is just kind of, well, we've got to teach it because it's on the curriculum. if it was down to me, I wouldn't bother. We'd stick some more maths lessons in. Do you know what I mean? You know, put a bit more PE, that kind of stuff. But they know that they know, like Liam, who's 15, his dad's got a building company, Simon, brilliant builder, lovely family, grafting family, hard workers. Si runs a family business. His order book is full. Whenever I see him, he looks knackered. My mate goes yell like, bloody hell. I said, don't moan. You're busy. You go, I know, too bloody. Oh, shut up. You're not that busy. But now Liam and his dad have a mutual agreement. They're not going to work on the building site together because 15-year-old lad, building site, too much banter, wants to be able to chat with his dad nicely after day's work, family meal. So he comes here, Liam gets commissions, serious commissions, and they're professional standard. He goes, what do you want today then, guys? I said, I've got this one to finish, Liam. So, oh yeah, I remember you started, yeah. Did that bloke come back to you about the Bluebell one? He did. I wants that one. Lovely. What about you? Because you know that thing about that horse commission? Yeah, well, I've got the stables interested in. Oh, nice one, Liam. He said, what do you reckon about my pricing then? We have a chat about the job in hand.
Hello, just a quick one.
You all right, Ange?
Yes. How's your mum?
Are you in here? Are you down
No.
for...
Have you got my prints? We go home on the 2nd of October, and I wasn't sure if you were going to be open next week.
I'm doing a Tuesday because I thought you'd be going.
Oh,
I've just been
bless
talking.
you.
This is Dave, by the way. This
Hi,
is one of my
Dave.
mad painters. I was talking about my mad painters.
Please
This
to
is
me,
Ange.
my lovely. That's okay. It's just so I can pick them
So
up.
I
That's
will
fine.
put. In fact, you've reminded me. I'm going away next Thursday, so I was thinking about you and
Jesus,
Steve
last day.
closing the site.
It is.
So will you be here
I'll
on
be
Tuesday?
here Tuesday. That's fine then, sweetheart. I was just
I am going to, in front of Dave now, while you're here, I'm going to put a thing on our WhatsApp now to say, oh, but new phone, I'm rubbish. I've become my dad. I've become my dad.
No.
Oh, Ange, don't worry. It's not been, no, we've been covering everything here.
That's just as well, because if it was on a normal Tuesday morning,
Honestly, the language is awful. Not me, I hasten to add.
Yeah, me.
I learn new combinations of words with this lot.
I think, guys, an absolute beep beep.
It's normally us talking about our people and our families, isn't it?
Now I've been taking photographs of him, and he's been telling me his.
Okay. Right.
So you're going to finish that?
I'm going to finish the corner of this, which is a style, just to tuck into that corner there. It's going to be half hidden. So this is just an old stone style that's going to go in here with a little fence post, tiny bit of glass, and then just melt that into that a bit, and then that's done. So that's all the way down to Stackpole, Badafundle Beach.
Yeah.
So around the corner from here, in there is Bosheston Lily Ponds.
Right.
Freshwater East, and then you start coming past Trewent, Swan Lake into Manorbier, and then you're heading towards Lidstep and then Penally, coming back this way. So that's going to go to a house not far from here.
Right. Brilliant.
And then, and that one's done. There, that's an X because that's for when the wild garlic comes back in February.
Right.
That's that one, and I'll start that one, and I'm halfway through big foxglove painting there.
Brilliant.
That one.
Hey, you've got some nice work to do there.
And then I'm gonna put another layer on all of one of those, some of those. Yeah. So this is the closest to finish. It's not there yet, so that's going to have then more greens and purples coming down there, so it's less.
If you stand there and do that, we'll just see whether we can get it.
Okay. So basically, this area here,
And look to me. There. That's nice. I like that. But that reminds me of my room.
Yeah.
There was no yellows in mine. It was just literally, this bright.
well, they're going to have.
But
There's going to be more.